Welcome back to Copper Star Precision, the channel dedicated to getting you more points at your competitive shooting matches. We are continuing with the Ruger NRL22 base class build, and today is the fun day where we get to add a whole bunch of accessories to the rifle. So where to start? Let's start at the back here. So the first thing we're going to install is the Apex bag rider from Catalyst Arms. And what this is going to do is essentially just give us a little bit more area at the back of the rifle in order to put a bag. It puts a little bit of an angle on it and allows us some more surface area just to manipulate that bag, manipulate elevation with our rear bag, especially in like prone position. So this is simply going to attach back here. It's a pretty simple install. I'll just take this out because we don't need the bolt. I believe this is a 1/8. Yep, so it's just a 1/8 screw, and there is a nut on the other side. So we're going to take the screw and the nut out. This is simply going to slide directly on, and we are going to replace the nut. Doesn't go flying off the table. And then we're just going, this screw is just going to go right through one of those Picatinny rail mounts. I'll use a very small amount of thread locker on here. The entire bag rider itself is plastic, so we don't want to over torque this. So I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of non-permanent thread locker on there, just to make sure that when we get it torqued down, it doesn't go anywhere. So we're just going to put this straight through, and we're going to tighten this up. That's just hand tight, and that's pretty good to me. Maybe just a little more. I don't want to go too crazy. Like I said, this is plastic, so I don't want to. All right, hand tight and a quarter turn ought to do it. So now, as you can see, we have a nice surface area for our rear bag to ride. I guess we'll just work our way forward here. We can do the grip next. What I've chosen for the grip is the EVG Vertical Grip from Masterpiece Arms. Essentially, it is a, I'll put it over here so you can see it. It's a vertical grip, has a little bit of a thumb shelf here. Just gives you a nice vertical position. This is the same grip I use on my centerfire rifle, which is why I'm going with it. And yeah, so this should be a pretty easy install. I did test fit this before, and there were a couple spots where I just had to take a Dremel just to get it nice and flush up with this platform. And that's to be expected with stuff like this. It's a simple one screw. I believe this is also an 1/8. No, it's not an 1/8. It's going to be 3/16, right? Yes, and I think the one that's in there is also 3/16. So here I'm going to use my fix-it sticks for a little extra reach. If you don't have fix-it sticks, they're great tools to have. I'll put a link in the description where you can pick up a pair. They make great gifts too, so if you're looking for a gift for an enthusiast. I keep using my range bag all the time, just in case something goes down, you need to retighten some scope rings or something like that. So simple AR style grip. There's a screw in the butt handle, it's hollow, so it's just easy access. And then we're just going to turn this upside down. Like I said, there was a little modification needed to get this going. Let's see, does this reach? Yes, it does. So the hard part here is actually trying to get this to go into that hole. So let's get that there, and then I'm actually gonna try. Yep, okay, so get that started in there, and you actually have to come through the back of the grip to get the right angle to torque this down. There we go. So that's about snug, and we'll go maybe a full turn like that. That's not going anywhere. So now we have, I should have wore a lighter colored shirt. There we go. So now we have a vertical grip. Just gives us a different purchase on the rifle. And now probably one of the most important upgrades for quality of life is going to be this Arca rail. So this is a full-length Arca dovetail rail designed for this rifle. So this will fit exactly the full length of the forend here, which is a really nice feature. And what we're going to do is we're going to install this real quick. I believe these are 1/8 inch. Yes, they are. So you have an M-LOK forend. If you've never used M-LOK, it's developed by Magpul. Essentially, it's just T-nuts that they turn and then they lock into place. And everyone has their own kind of style for installing M-LOK accessories, but over the years I found the easiest method is as follows. So if you can see here, all these T-nuts are essentially in line and they're actually screwed all the way down. A lot of people say, oh, you have to leave like an 1/8 inch gap, and then no, forget all that. It's way simpler. Screw them down so they're all in line so that this should fit right in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go one by one, and we're going to simply loosen, a turn, come back half a turn, loosen, a turn, come back half a turn, and then eventually you will see, you can actually look through the handguard, but even if you're doing it blind, you can just kind of like loosen and turn until you see or feel the T-nut rotate and lock into place. And this is the easiest way I've found to actually do this instead of trying to guess what height you need to set the screws at. So this is going really quickly. So that one's turned, good. Because different handguards and stuff have different thicknesses, so you have to kind of just get a feel for it. That one's on there really tight. So let me loosen that, there we go. And we're just kind of going back and forth until we feel it turn and catch. There it is. Now I believe when you're going from a metal to another metal surface for M-LOK, the torque spec for M-LOK, I believe is 35 inch-pounds. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. If you're going from polymer to metal or metal to polymer or polymer to polymer, I believe it's 15 inch-pounds. So if you're doing something between plastics, you need a lot less torque, obviously, because the plastic might crack. So I'm just kind of going through, snugging all of these up, and then maybe we'll go inside out and we'll just torque all of these to 35 inch-pounds, like that. And voila, now we have a full-length Arca rail on the forend specifically designed for this rifle. Now, there's actually two screws at the top here. I'll probably take these out, but these are kind of blocks in case you attach something here and you don't want it sliding off the end. I'll probably take those out, but for now I'll just leave them where they are. So this is specifically designed for this model. It's a really nice feature to have, and one of the best things about a full-length Arca rail is it allows you to add accessories. So I have a very high-end bipod which has an Arca attachment, and even if you don't want to, you don't have accessories that attach to this, most people at most matches, all of their accessories are Arca mount. So you'll be able to borrow some of their things like their Gray Ops plates and their bags that clamp onto Arca and all that kind of stuff. So even if you don't have Arca accessories, I strongly recommend going for an Arca rail, because you'll be able to actually share gear. And I would say 99.9% of competitors are very good about letting you borrow stuff, letting you try stuff, letting you run some of their stuff in stages. The disadvantage of not owning it is that you don't get to practice with it at home, but everyone is super nice at the matches, and you'll actually get to try out a lot more gear that has Arca clamps and is Arca compatible with an Arca rail versus just having a bipod in a single location on a Picatinny mount or something that you add here. The other thing that it allows you to do is having this the full length of the forend allows you to do some of those strategies where we slide the bipod closer to the mag well, like on the top of the 55-gallon barrel. So those are the pretty simple first round upgrades to the Ruger Precision Rifle. Next video is going to be the trigger, actually. Take this back apart and we're going to install the trigger. And again, that's not so much in accuracy. I don't think this is going to aid in the rifle's accuracy. It's more about the shooter's accuracy. I feel like I do better and I perform better with a lighter trigger. So we're going to put that in there. Then we're going to mount the scope. I'll talk about scope rings and selection on scope rings and all that good stuff. And then we have to set up the rifle for our body. So that means length of pole, cheek weld, eye relief on the scope, get all of that taken care of, and then we'll finally get this guy to the range and see what it can do. So until I see you next time, as always, score more points.